Today on the Retro Zoo Super Show, it's more now than later, and certainly much more now than then.
Live from Kakariko Village. Broadcast throughout the Retroverse, transmitted to the real world via a maze of wires connecting a Super Nintendo to a Wii, to a Wi-Fi network, and finally to the Internet. The Techno Funk Boy presents the Retro Zoo Super Show. Now here are your hosts, Kai and Steven.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Retro Zoo Super Show. I am one of your hosts, Kai.
And I'm Steven.
Hey, Steven. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good, dude. How are you doing?
Doing well. So, yeah, 2019 happened, and we immediately flake on an episode.
You know, I think when you've done as much hard work as we've done, you're allowed a flake or two.
Oh my goodness, I was like, we had it all ready. You know this. We had the episode all ready to go. Everything was prepared and everything. And I was, first of all, I was not sleeping well, but I just running at full steam, and then came to the end of the day, and it was one of those times there's a lot of times you say that it hurts to move.
Yeah.
Well, it was I was extremely parched, and I did not want to get up and get a drink because it legit hurt to move.
That sounds like an illness, man.
This sounds like an illness.
Yeah, are you really sick?
Well, I'm fine. I mean, I'm not fine now. I'm better. I'm much better.
Well, that's comforting.
It's comforting. Yes, that's good.
No, for real. No, I'm glad, because it was a scary time. It's I remember I was at work and I went to get the podcast going, and there was no podcast.
I wasn't going to call you out that you were not going to be on the podcast one way or another, and that this was just me handling everything by myself again. But then you just called yourself out. I was going to give you credit for that one. I even said we had it prepared and all that, and not me by my lonesome, me and Drum.
That's the beauty of always telling the truth, is you don't have to remember any lies. And that would have been a complete lie. I would have had to play along with it like I was actually there, and oh yeah, it was this great episode, and it was the best one, and if you didn't hear it, it was because we recorded and somehow it got lost in the glitch between a world. It's it fell down the drain. That actually happened to me one time. I was at work, and I lost my cell phone down a drain.
Okay.
I was running in it, and it slipped. I felt like that was kind of like a glitch between worlds. Except I called the city, and they came and opened the drain up and went down and got my phone. I don't know if that's relevant.
Well, no, but I gotta tell you, this whole episode's not gonna be overly relevant. It's.
But I think that's the whole theme of the podcast, is we're not that relevant.
That's true.
I mean, retro games aren't. I mean, they're not irrelevant. We're not irrelevant.
I forgot to turn the red light on again.
Well,
actually, that's the whole point of the show. Is this episode is how relevant we really are today. As we complain about our lives. Oh goodness, so
hard.
Oh goodness, so what have you been up to besides the normal stuff that we have been up to?
Well,
Like, I noticed that you're actually playing a video game while we're recording the video game thing.
Well, I stopped because it was distracting me, and also I started a second player, and so I was trying to do two players at once.
You were trying to play two players while being on the show here?
Yeah, I thought I could multitask, do three things: play two different players, and do the podcast, and drink a beer at the same time. But no, anyway, I couldn't do it. It's that game Broforce, actually. So, it's kind of an old school looking game. I think I've talked about it on the show before, but you basically are different bros, and so it's like the Brominator is like Terminator, and then Judge Bro, like instead of Judge Dredd, or I think it's Bro Dredd.
Yeah. You were telling us about that.
So you just blow through these bad guys, and at the end of every level, you kill the devil or something, like this little devil-looking character. But it's like a side-scrolling, old-school Nintendo type, game. Broforce, you can get it on Steam. And at the end of every match, it shows all the people you've killed. It just blows them up for you again, so like you can see, and it scrolls across the screen like points. It's like it's just like this big long slaughter. I think that's actually probably the most satisfying part of the game. But I'm playing that.
Is that like in Hot Shots Part 2 where it starts having the death counter in the corner? Do you remember that? Did you see this movie?
A long time ago.
Okay,
yeah.
please tell me you've watched these types of movies, because goodness. Classics.
No, those are classics. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but there's one part where he's just blowing everybody away, and there's a death counter in the corner until it announces that this is the bloodiest movie ever made. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, something like that. And then I played a little bit of Heroes of the Storm earlier, which is a Blizzard game. I think it's free to play. It's kind of like their Dota knockoff, or League of Legends knockoff.
Well, I think, and it's got some neat particulars about it. It is actually one that I really enjoy. I like watching that style of game.
Yeah,
and
the MOBAs.
Yeah, and I know that's what they're called. I have no idea. Arena something.
Oh, MOBA, Massive Online Battle Arena or something. Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. Online Battle Arena is OBA.
Yeah. Well, Heroes of the Storm's it has some like cool distinctives about it, and it's one that I really enjoy watching. Is what I'm trying to get at. I thought it looks pretty fun.
Well, it's cool too. Okay, so Here's the Storm draws on all of the different universes in Blizzard. So you've got the Diablo universe. They'll have like Diablo. Then they'll have other characters from Diablo, like some of the heroes and some of the other demons you fight. And then it draws from the Overwatch universe. So there's some of the popular characters, or the big characters in that are there, available to play as heroes in Heroes of the Storm. And then Starcraft has Starcraft, and it has Zerg characters, heroes, and it has Protoss heroes, and it has Terran heroes. So it has all the different races, heroes, and that's several heroes for each race. And so
do you only play Starcraft heroes?
Well, no, I was going to say earlier today, I picked that there's a stage set in the StarCraft world. So they're all set in different worlds. Some of them are in Diablo worlds and stuff. So they have some StarCraft world stages.
Starcraft.
And, you can't get me away from StarCraft. You can put me in another game, but I'm still going to be playing StarCraft, because I picked all Terran heroes on my team, because I'm playing computers, because I'm not good enough to play against people in Heroes of the Storm. So I picked all Terran, and I was Terran, and then on my opponents, I made them all Protoss, and it was cool. I felt I was actually like in StarCraft, but a different kind of like StarCraft 3.
Yeah. So I run into two problems with this game.
Here's the Storm?
Yes. The first one is, every time I see the game, immediately the Doors starts playing in my head. Even though the song is not called Heroes in the Storm, but I start Heroes of the Storm.
And
exactly.
House we're born.
Right. And so that's my first problem. The second problem is every time somebody plays Kane from Diablo, I start saying in my head, "Stay a while and listen," over and over and over again, because I've heard him say that 5 gazillion times.
Stay a while
and listen.
That can pose a small problem. I want to tell you one of the other problems I've had with this game is that it's called Heroes of the Storm, and I used to heard it referred to as HOTS, Heroes of the Storm. Well, that confused me because the second Starcraft expansion was called Heart of the Swarm, which is also HOTS. And so when people were talking about HOTS, I was like, wait, what HOTS are we talking about? Starcraft expansion or the other Blizzard game? It was really confusing for like a couple months until I figured out what was actually happening. I didn't realize they had the same initials. Heart of the Swarm and Heroes of the Storm. I mean, they rhyme. It'd be like, in the heart of the storm, the heroes of the swarm. Wait, I can't even say the song right. I'm not a rap core.
Okay, so if we do, okay, we got to do like a Blizzard mega mix.
Yeah, I'm not doing vocals in any of the songs we're doing. I should be rapping.
Well, we got to get a clip of Kane doing "Stay a While and Listen." And
dude,
we'll get a clip from the Doors. Right. We'll get the clip of the Doors, and then we'll it'll just be called 100% HOTS.
It'll be called Heroes of the Doors.
Heroes of the
Doors. Heroes of the Doors. Dum, dum, dum. Yeah. No, so I played a little bit of that, and then I was going to play some Counter-Strike, but I decided that I'm sucking at that too. So here's something. I mean, if we could segue. We could segue into this for just a second, and I'm just. All right. I know we don't.
We literally have almost no topic today, so this is cool. This is great. Okay. That we're just going to go where the conversation takes us, and I'm assuming it's StarCraft.
No, well, it's gaming in general. I'm going to keep it. This is going to move a little bit left of like the retro gaming, or right or whatever is more progressive. And this, we're going to go a little bit like outside of our comfort zone in terms of type of game, but we are going to discuss gaming. I feel like this has been on my heart. It's been on my mind, and that was you could edit that out. And I'm trying to be serious, like really serious right now.
No,
like stone cold, dude. I'm stone cold. If you could see my face,
and then you burped right in the middle of it. How am I supposed to take that seriously? I don't know how to take that seriously.
Okay.
I
get what you're coming from, actually.
We're settling.
I've been thinking about games, and I've been thinking about how much I suck at games, and I think it was actually inspired by the last week's title for the podcast for the last time we did not, last.
Oh, what was it? This game sucks, and so do we.
So I realized it actually hit me pretty hard, and because we're joking about it, but it's like I kind of took that personally. Like we're talking about ourselves here. We're talking about a game we actually played, and it's very By
the way, that game we talked about was awesome, but we actually do suck at games.
Yeah, but that's like the truth part of it. It's like the part of that was not true, but part of that was kind of true. It's like we kind of suck. Like I suck at games, and I suck at playing games. And I feel like it's difficult sometimes on the show because we talk about awesome games. I'm like, I actually want to get into some of these games and I want to spend time with them. But I opened my PC up and I recently upgraded my PC. Like I took out.
Fancy.
But I got a hand-me-down graphics card for Christmas. It was like this older graphics card, but I plugged it in my PC and then I bought a stick of RAM. I doubled my RAM.
Nice.
And so now it's like it actually can run some of the games I had been playing before my computer got too cluttered. I can go back to playing Counter-Strike again a little bit, and I can go back and play. I couldn't play Heroes of the Storm at all for a while.
Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't even enjoy anything about my computer. So anyway, it's kind of back online, and I'm excited about it. But at the same time, like I get online and I play these games. I used to play when I got on the computer to play games. I got on to be competitive and to like kick some butt and like to feel good about myself and get that adrenaline rush. And that's still like, you know, in the back of my mind when I play online, I'm like, it's in the back of my mind. Like, I want to beat somebody. I want to get some experience, you know, and I want to, it's one thing to get beaten if it's like a good match, you know, like, oh, this was a well matched, you know, battle, and it was, I didn't win, but I had a really fun time trying to win. And that doesn't happen that often with games. And actually, I feel like to get to that point in a game, you really have to invest a lot of time in it. And so that's why I try to keep my game pool pretty small. Like, I really literally play 3 games. And really, Heroes of the Storm is kind of a newer addition, just because I kind of got tired of bouncing back and forth between Starcraft and Counter-Strike. It's like, I want something a little different. So Heroes of the Storm fills that little spot up. But the fact of the matter is, doesn't matter which one I play. I'm the best at Counter-Strike in terms of my abilities in the game. Like, I can actually get some frags and, you know, carry a bad team. But in StarCraft, it's like slaughter if I play some. Even on like the low levels, and like I'll beat somebody in the Bronze League or whatever. I'll beat a couple people, and then it's like I lose constantly. It's just, there's so much to learn, so much to understand about the game, and so much that I need to practice on. And I kind of know it. Like, I know all these areas. And it's the same thing with Heroes of the Storm, I think. In every game I play, it's like, I'm a really competitive person. And when I sit down to play a game, I get really way too philosophical, and I start thinking like, okay, I only have so much time to actually play on the computer because I've got other stuff I'm supposed to be doing. I really love to play on the computer. I'd really love to spend my whole day doing that, but I really only have about an hour. So like, what game am I going to like try to suck a little bit less on? And it's usually like I go the path of least resistance, and it usually ends up that I'm playing computers, and I'm not getting any better, or I'm playing Counter-Strike casual mode, and just like not being in a committed serious match or whatever. So it kind of was a little depressing when I started thinking about it. I was like, man, I'm really not a gamer. Like, it was kind of an existential moment for me. I was like, who am I? It's like you're sitting there in front of the computer in your boxers early in the morning on a weekend. You're like, I'm going to get better at this game. And then you like lose 5 times in a row. And then you're just like, I'm just not a gamer. Like, you just look down at yourself sitting in your boxers, like in the corner of a room. Like, people are starting to straggle out of bed, but you got up extra early just so you could lose.
It's the saddest thing we've ever had on the show.
I feel like
this is supposed to be like a lighthearted, like, you know, morning comedy romp, and
we put all this up. We
sitting
put
here
this
in
up
the
front.
boxers. Yeah,
we put this up front, so like it can only get better from here, right? I mean,
look, you put a damper on the whole show. Wow, now I'm going to talk about, like, you know, my accomplishments of the week, and I don't want to anymore. It's sad.
Oh, dude, no, now I feel all guilty. See, now you're making, I don't know. I just want to be better, and I think part of it is like, I think I need to change my attitude about gaming. So this isn't like, oh, I don't have time for games. It's like, no, I do. I just need to stop being so competitive. I need to start. And like, honestly, with Heroes of the Storm, I don't play people, and I'm actually having a good time. I play against computers, and I can set their ability levels. So I'm like, all elite on my team, and everybody on their team is a beginner. Let's see how they like that.
Yeah,
but that's not that satisfying, you know.
It just made me think about like this old this chess game that a friend of mine had when we were growing up, and he and I were both in the chess back in the day. At our high school, we were founding members of the chess club.
You look like a founding member of a chess club, in a good way. It's like
in a good way.
Yeah, no, it's like a noble thing. I feel like with your beard, especially, I'm seeing it. Like,
yeah, elves can't grow beards, man.
Oh yeah, well, if you were to have a beard, I can imagine a beard on you.
You're just gonna make this the most difficult thing to edit ever.
Just don't edit. Go with it.
Just go with it. Okay. So, like, he had this chess game, and it was notable because, like, we, you know, had several, like, chess programs and stuff that you could play against the computer, but this one was notable because, like at its beginner level, it was just, like, kicking our butt every single time, and it wasn't even like close. It wasn't even like, well, I was neck and neck with the computer until like at the very end, and I messed up and I moved my queen when I shouldn't have. No, it was like from move one, it was just dominating us. And it just kind of became an obsession just because like we needed to beat this stupid thing. And so in that quest, he turned on another chess program and had them play each other, like he was making the moves and such. Except he put, the really hard one at its lowest level and the other one at its highest level. And that stupid hard one still won.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really frustrating. Anyways, that had nothing to do with anything, but
dude, actually,
I'm glad I didn't own it because I would have been up in the morning with my boxers on just to lose, Yeah. Just set my entire day in motion.
To lose. But you know what's funny though, dude? Every hero story, it starts like that. So like
Heroes of the Storm.
The stories start the same. They start in their boxers, losing all the time, but they're heroes of the storm. Dun 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 dun. And to this house they're born. Dude, no, I was watching this thing. I think I mentioned it in one of the podcasts. I know I'm like an old man. I'm like, I told you about this before, but Starcraft did these little bios on some of their best players.
Starcraft. Yes, you've mentioned, and the
Tell me about
Dweeb was on it.
No,
Neeb.
And I didn't like his. I told you I didn't like his little bio. It wasn't very good. But the good one was this guy named Special, who was a Mexican pro Starcraft player, and that was his story. Basically, was he was super serious about getting better at this game, and like sucked at it really bad for a while. But he's like played it hard enough, and he got into a team, and then he still sucked, and like they ended up kicking him out, and like he went back to Mexico and didn't play Starcraft, and then like one day he just got up and he's like, I'm going to be good at this, and he's in his 40s, his late 30s, and he's like, I'm going to be good at this. And he plays 12 hours a day, and this last BlizzCon, he got into the last 8. He's this older Hispanic guy, and just blowing all, like, he just played it all of the freaking time. And I really feel like that's what it, to be competitive, to be good, you just got to kind of leave all your responsibilities behind. Why are you working? Why are you at a job? Find a parent to live with, that one that hopefully works a lot of hours to try to just scrape by, and so they're not home very often. And then you just hole up there, become a pro esport athlete, so that you can buy them a new home one day. And so, like, you're really not just like mooching off of them; you're actually becoming like their retirement plan. But it just takes you playing 12 hours a day. But you got to play the same game.
Yeah,
that becomes work after the first 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, you have your answer. It's like and I didn't watch a ton of AGDQ, but I watched some of it. And
what?
Q.
Just kidding. Act like I don't know what it is.
Awesome Games Done Quick just happened last week. You missed it already. Get over it. Okay. So I didn't watch a ton of it this year, but I watched some, and I cannot remember who it was who was talking about this. Unfortunately, if I knew we were going down this road, then I would have, tried to remember the person's name. But he was saying he like lives in a rural area, and they don't have like an unlimited internet plan, and with the one company that comes to where he is, and so he pays $400 a month on internet. So he can stream. That's dedication.
That's a lot of money. Is he a good streamer? Is he making his money back?
He made HEDQ, so I hope he has some subscriptions.
He made it? Like he bought a pile of internet clay and constructed
Yes, he
HEDQ?
Built it from the ground up. He made the hotel. Obviously, no.
I was like, what?
Yes.
What? I just saw Frieza go final form. Oh, that's right. You haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, have you?
No, I have not.
Oh, I just want to talk about that a little bit. Can we talk about why you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z? That's like I don't know. I just feel like that's like a cornerstone of this whole nerdverse.
I was so proud of you. I was so proud of you because I got back my Chrono Trigger game from a mutual friend of ours. Because I'll be playing it this month and next month, and the strategy guide. And you were glancing. You have not played that game.
Mm-mm.
But I just just to test you to see how much you were paying attention. I was like, "What does this look like?" And you're like, "Dragon Ball Z." And I was like, "Oh, very good. That's the same artist." So I was impressed.
Yeah, I
mean, it's very distinctive, but still, come on.
I'm impressed that you knew that it looked like Dragon Ball Z, since you never watched Dragon Ball Z.
I am aware of Dragon Ball Z.
And I'm sure you've seen like the moment. Okay, and maybe I'm freaking out about Dragon Ball Z, and like really Dragon Ball Z is just like the Coors Light of anime. Maybe there's like you don't need to really have Dragon Ball Z to understand good anime, but Akira, like you see references to or Dragon Ball Z references Akira like this great, and it might have been the same artist that did some of the animation or work in that movie Akira, because like there's like a moment when Tetsuo. He becomes so powerful, and like he takes that flag and turns it into a cape, and his hair is all shot back like he's Super Saiyan, and he's just like up against the whole army or whatever, and he's just kicking their butt. He looks like a Saiyan right there in that scene. And but also, I mean, I'm just thinking like, and I'm sure in other animes you have the characters like stare at the character that's going into another stage of development, or something crazy is happening, and like they're looking up. And like shock and awe, but like they're like there's little beads of sweat coming off their head, and they're like, oh, like it's not even possible. How can it be? Like,
yeah.
Is that a common trend in anime, or is that just my?
I thought it was, but I'm not
like
that versed in anime.
That's like Dragon Ball Z, like every other episode. It's like half the episode is them going, oh, that's why it's kind of funny. You don't really have to watch that much of it to kind of like know the entire show. It's like, that's most of the show is like the characters going, oh, like the bad guys and the bad guys always have like 1,000 different forms, and like every couple episodes they'll go to the next stage or form or whatever. They'll get a little bit stronger, and everybody's like, oh, it's too much.
Yeah.
But then they end up getting like more powerful too. And like it just goes on and on like a Jacob's ladder effect.
Nice.
Yeah. That's my
so
analysis.
it's gonna obviously have to check it out at some point.
But no, dude. So that's all I've been doing pretty much just to tie that one off. I playing some games, I'm sucking at them, and kind of wishing I was living with a parent in some rural area by myself. Just
spending $400 a month on internet.
Well, no, they'd be spending it. It'd probably coming out of their like Medicaid bill or something.
Yeah,
just
nice.
Like we'd have to have the internet to like transmit some kind of data for like some kind of home testing thing, and so I get Medicaid to cover it.
Nice.
It'd be like an appeals process. It would take a little while, but I'd get it because I knew how to work the system.
Oh goodness! So yeah, I don't really know how to do with that, but so speaking of sucking at things, my big thing was like after I played SimCity NES for the last episode we did, I put in the SNES one because now I'm all hopped up on SimCity and just absolutely adore that game. And so I was like, okay, this time I'm going to beat it because I bought this game new in 1991, and it wasn't something that I just didn't like and I put aside for a while. I adored that game and I played the snot out of it, but I never got to Megalopolis status. And, it was partially because I was doing the donut strategy. We talked about that last time. I'm not going to go back.
Yeah.
Which is not very conducive to hitting 500,000 residents. And so I did it differently. And I finished it up. And I was very excited to finally hit, after 27-ish years, finally beat that stupid game. So that's like your story. That's like, after losing for 27 years, I finally accomplished something with my life.
Well, you're a step ahead of me. Because I don't think I've ever beat any of my games. You can put that on my tombstone.
Wow.
He never beat a single game. Here lies Stephen Lanier. He never beat a single game. That could feature prominently in my eulogy, too.
He was known as a great helicopter pilot and rescued many a slain troop. But he really could never beat any game. He was terrible. We often joked, why would you even try?
And yet, despite that, he hosted a gaming podcast.
He didn't really get voluntary about it, but he was more like told that he had to do it or otherwise blackmail would be released on his person, that he wasn't a true gamer, even though he had portrayed himself as such.
Oh, gosh. Well, the other thing that was kind of cool is, as we move right along from that, it's a good transition there.
Mm-hmm,
Anyways.
Yeah. Good faded. Faded away.
We're going to move right along, just like after your funeral. Anyways, that's over now.
That was a little hardcore, dude.
Oh, gosh. So the other thing is that, I did, well, and I really thought of doing this too late because I did a composing, stream where we've been kind of hinting at this for a little bit, but, the Technofunk Boys music will soon be featured in a podcast that will hopefully be coming out very, very soon. And so we've been working really, really hard on that. And it's original music. It's not, gaming covers. So that's been a lot of fun to do. And it is a, Dungeons and Dragons real play podcast called Dice and Dreary. And so we'll let y'all know when that's coming out. But,
it'll be available on Twitch?
No, not on Twitch. On podcasts.
Oh, it'll just be a podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be really good. So I was working on composing a song. We have done some recording live on Twitch before, but it's the first time that we did some composing. And so that was a lot of fun. And so we got that going. But I thought of doing that halfway through the process. So it was kind of, I got to start earlier because it was kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, we're here composing a song, but the theme is already composed and it's written there on the page. And so I'm just kind of moving around things, but enjoy.
But it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It worked. Right?
It did. Yeah. So we're backing that up on our YouTube channel. And if you do want to check that out, but yeah, we'll have more on that in the very near future. Hopefully.
Sweet.
But that being the case, let us jump to the commercial and try to figure out what today's topic is going to be.
Okay.
Hey, it's Kai here. We recently finished our latest EP, Quest of the Dragon Warrior. It's an electronic tribute to Dragon Warrior and the amazing music that game gave us. We're really excited about how this music came out, and we want you to have it for free. If you go to technofunkboy.com/Dragon Warrior and sign up for our weekly newsletter, you'll get the songs to download and keep for free forever. That's technofunkboy.com/Dragon Warrior, or check the show notes for a link. And what was that?
You like to do the clapping thing. I was trying to do it.
You have to do that during the commercial. We're already back.
Okay.
And we're back. That's what I was trying to say.
Woot, woot. My bad, dude. I messed it all up.
So yeah, for this episode, what we thought we would do is just kind of discuss where retro gaming is in the present. So it's like, yes, we do look to the past. And that's, in fact, our entire job is to look longingly at the past, reaching for something that we had lost in our youth. Something we'll never regain, and yet we try hard, and we just continue to talk about these games that meant so much to us way back when it was Friday night and we had no friends and no one to go hang out with. And so we instead played Final Fantasy II on the SNES again.
And again.
Yeah.
So,
and then we tried to pretend like Cecil was a friend of ours, except he didn't talk back.
This is your turn. This is your turn to, like, break my heart, dude. What are you doing?
Oh, well, that's not me. I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
Speculating.
No, yeah, people.
Yeah. These are
okay.
things that happen to people.
Yeah, people do that kind of thing. Yeah, silly people. If only they knew that their neighbor across the way and 2 doors down was actually doing the exact same thing and just needed another person to come stick a controller in his SNES and they could duel it out together side by side.
Well, and that's that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to reflect on a little bit is just that sort of connection is almost becoming the norm at this point. And we have infused retro gaming with modern technology in such a way that we now are playing games even across great distances together. So you have besides the stuff like Twitch, like YouTube, you now have like features on the Switch for certain, but also other things where you can literally play old 2-player games online and against one another. In other words, if we both got a Switch, I could beat you at Nintendo's ice hockey anytime, anywhere.
Well,
just whenever.
I just had a whole long spiel about how I don't get beaten easily.
No,
it doesn't go.
No. You said you do get beaten easily. You said you don't like it.
Yeah. No, I mean, my emotions aren't easily beaten about being beaten, or they are easily beaten about being beaten.
I'm confused now.
The bottom line is I don't take it lightly. Yeah, it's serious to me. So why would I put myself in a situation where I knew you were going to beat me? Like, we'd have to pick a game that neither of us have played, practice on it, equal amounts of time, or not. Just have the equal amount of a day. You had 2 days to practice on this game. But no. But you're right though. I think that those kind of emulators, and actually, we could probably just do it even now. We could.
Don't left turn from the plan. We thought of this plan almost 3 minutes ago.
We could actually even start right now. No, I see what you're saying, and I think that there's definitely a huge technological advance that's allowed us to just do a lot more with retro games, and it's kind of funny because if you were a retro gamer, or if you did play during that time period, you now have access to all the games you never even could get, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and this kind of came to mind as what little I did watch of AGDQ this year is I was surprised at how, when I would turn it on randomly, and granted, it's I did not pull out the schedule like normally did. And this was during the week that I was just not well. And so I was trying to sleep during AGDQ. But when I did turn it on, I was surprised at how little speed running was actually on. Which is traditionally what AGDQ is, awesome games done quick. But they had a lot of variants to that. So they had like randomizers, and we talked about randomizers before on the show. We had McGrew on, who talked about his Dragon Warrior randomizer, which is just a great game, and we'll talk about randomizer in just a little bit. But we either had like a randomizer race or another kind of race, or like a bingo game where you're not trying to necessarily win the game, you're trying to do certain things to get squares on bingo, or see certain things. And, or, kind of glitching out and doing stuff in reverse order and stuff. And just the way things have widened out that you're able to play. And I think, one of a couple of the biggest examples that I've seen is, like, I've seen some games on Twitch where the games are now programming in feedback from the audience, where you can paste some bits to have the game do something. And it's just absolutely hilarious. Like, they had it tied in to a Super Mario Brothers 3 race. And they could have like random enemies appear, fish appear in the desert. Didn't matter. You throw the bits in, you can make the game do stuff. And so that kind of interactivity, not just between the player and the game, but also the audience. The randomizers, I think, have obviously have really taken off, and they were taking off. They had already taken off when we did the episode with McGrew. And for those who don't remember that episode or haven't seen this is when you take the game and you kind of shuffle the stuff inside the game around, so that you're not, and normally like treasures, but sometimes you can shuffle around the maps or the enemies or whatever, so that you don't know where stuff is anymore. So you can be playing like a Zelda game, and you need the hook shot to get through this one dungeon, but despite the fact that you've played this Zelda game 5 gazillion times, you don't know where the hook shot is because it's been randomized.
Yeah.
Well, they have one now, and this has been out for a little bit, but I never cease to be amazed at this particular one, where they have Zelda Link to the Past, and Super Metroid randomizer fused together into a single game. Have you seen this?
No, how's that possible?
Okay, so this is what I understand, and I may be way off because I spent literally 0 time researching this. But from what I understand, it's like they figured out that Link to the Past and Super Metroid were using kind of mutually exclusive segments of the memory. And so, like, technically they could be running at the same time and not interfere with one another. And so once they figured that out, they basically took the randomizer for each game and found certain doorways that are not really used in the randomizer. So like in Link, which is the game I know much better than Super Metroid, but in Link to the Past, like there's some doorways that go into fortune tellers and stuff. Like, on a casual run through, you're going to poke your head in there, but when you're doing a randomizer or a speed run, there's no reason to go through that door. So instead of it going through into the fortune teller's house, it goes into Super Metroid. And there's also some doors in Super Metroid that you really would not use in a randomizer ever. And so they just connect them back. And so you can now find Super Metroid items in Link to the Past, and Link to the Past items in Super Metroid. And so now you've gotten this double-size randomizer where it's not just, okay, let me look through this dungeon to get the hook shot so I can get through this cave. But now it's, and I also have to go through Lower Norfair in Super Metroid just in case it's there. And it's the most, I mean, it's the most fascinating thing. And you just, you take that stuff and the time and energy that people are putting into these games to make them, to put just that little bit of a twist on the classic, that little bit of a twist that makes it like it's brand new. And typically just because of love for the game, it's really inspiring and it's very, very cool. You have, and we haven't mentioned this. This has been out for a while, and I kind of wish it would have taken off more. But there's a fan-made Mega Maker, which is, it's like Mario Maker, where you can build your own Mario levels, except for Mega Man, where you build your own Mega Man levels.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then you share them and you play them, and it's like I know streamers who I just love their channels and have a lot of respect for them. For example, the Dragon Feeny has this massive channel and that's really great. And, a good half of what she plays, if not more, is just, the random Mario Maker levels. I was like, well, Mega Maker's a very similar thing, except it's completely fan driven. Capcom had nothing to do with this, except they didn't take it down, which is awesome of Capcom to do. Some companies are nicer than Nintendo would be. Cases like that. Nintendo definitely would have taken it down. But there's stuff like this, and people are investing their time into that. You get into even to the art forms. It's like, it is so easy to find really, really cool, retro gaming art all over the place. It's like, I just ordered a Zelda bracelet and a Final Fantasy necklace. I'm just waiting for them to come in. They're both late, by the way. That shouldn't reflect it bad on the industry as a whole. It's just the fact. Are you done? Is that ice? Was that ice?
Mm-mm.
Was that ice?
No, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, it was, and I forgot. As soon as I put it up to my face, I forgot that we had a long talk about it.
After last episode, I banned the ice. and it lasted 0 episodes. Oh, gosh.
Oh, sorry.
But between shirts and, goodness, I am wearing a Retro Zoo Super Show shirt as we're recording this, and it is so easy to get this stuff done. It is so easy to find this stuff. It is, by the way, this is available on Amazon, this shirt, if anybody's interested. But it's so easy to find, stuff for your wall, types of art to do. Behind me, I've got a Final Fantasy scroll, a Final Fantasy plate, and a bunch of perlers that I made. Perlers by themselves have just become a retro gaming art form, almost exclusively. And so this sort of stuff has just really exploded. And we've seen just this creative revival. Just ignore the new games that are coming out in the retro style. Just ignore that for a little bit, even though they're all over the place. But we're in this retro gaming revival. Harkening back directly to the old games and playing the old games that I don't think any of us could have really predicted or expected. But I just I find it very cool, and I think 2019 is the place. It's the time to be in if you are a retro gamer. That this is kind of kind of the golden age of 80s gaming and 90s gaming.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I think you're absolutely right for a couple different reasons. One, I think that, you know, this information, it's never been easier to access this, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. It's never been easier to capsulize it and to get it out there for the masses. But it's also, we're in a time where everything is kind of like, okay, we've seen this now. YouTube isn't as novel as it used to be. You know, people use it for specific reasons now. It's not just something novel. There's the same thing with the internet all over the place. It's like people are starting to look for, are finding their niches. They're in their communities. They're wanting communities. They're, you know, all these things gear towards, you know, strengthening of a niche community. It's like, and that's because people don't go to movies like they used to. It's just things aren't as, people can do everything they want from their house for the most part, you know, and people work really hard these days, probably harder because, you know, I don't want to get into politics or, you know, economics, things I don't really know anything about. I'm not going to. I'm just saying that I think it channels us into like, you don't have time, you know, you're too busy working to just try to get by. You don't have time, you know, it's like who wants to go out and see a movie anymore? Right. You know, I mean, of course we like it. It's fun, whatever. But you can access almost everything you want to access and all the content that you want to access from your home. And so it's just getting easier and easier to have a niche audience and to have groups of people coming together over a particular topic. And I feel like, you know, you're right. This is in a way is a golden age because it's not only is it's so accessible, but it's like people are getting burnt out of everything else, you know? Yeah. People are getting burnt out of the same old kind of stuff, you know? And so it's they want to find their niche, they want to get into it, and then they want the content available for them there. So I feel like there's a lot of reasons to be playing retro games, even though I don't. But now I'm feeling stupid.
Well, and I'll say like, you know, like when you mentioned YouTube, and YouTube's a great example of this because YouTube has changed its thing so much lately that it's preventing YouTube from being used the way it used to be used. And what I mean is like the advertisements have just overloaded YouTube, which is fine. I mean, look, there's ads on Twitch as well. You know, people who are watching this recording live probably saw an ad when they're coming in. But the way we used to use YouTube is for like these cat videos that were, you know, 30 seconds long. And we just bounce around to 50 different videos at once. Well, when you have a 15-second commercial at the beginning of each one, you can't do that anymore. And that's the difference. It's like, yeah, okay, so people saw a 30-second commercial probably coming into this very channel. But then you know, you don't, once you find, you don't log into Twitch to look at 30-second things. You find something that you're interested in, you sit there for a long time. So a 30-second commercial is not that big a deal. When you're watching 30-second cat videos, commercials get like overwhelming. And so the approach to YouTube, and it was funny. It was like today I was watching a video between Rick Beato and Adam Neely, who are actually two separate YouTubers, music YouTubers, two of my favorite channels, who just do a lot of music theory and performance theory and just kind of taking apart songs and how does this work and how does this work. And I am, by the way, if either one of you are listening, I have dumped the stuff I've learned between the two of y'all and 8-bit game 8-bit music game music theory. What is the name of that channel? I'm getting it wrong. I'm sorry. I love your channel and I'm blanking on it. Or our friend Dan Gilak. I am dumping stuff I've learned from y'all into this new soundtrack. It's going to be really cool. But I was listening to an interview with them and they were talking about how we use YouTube now. And what Adam Neely was saying is I use it to learn stuff that I want to learn or for humor, for comedy videos.
Yeah.
And I realize it's like, that's pretty much the same for me. You know, it's like, different, niche, like topics music theory stuff that I want to learn. I want to get better at, so that I can, like compose music for a horror podcast, which is what we're doing, is a horror a D&D podcast, while at the same time also being the light and fluffy video game pop, synthwave band that we've always been. Yeah. So I do that on YouTube, but if I just want to hang out and watch something, then I'll go on Twitch, because I'm not getting bombarded every 30 seconds by an ad. And so YouTube has really shot itself in the foot and forced us to use YouTube differently than we've always used it.
So why would they do that? I mean, they have so much money, they should know better. Like, do you think they pay people to figure that kind of stuff out?
Well, I think it's because Facebook took over the cat video thing. And so now it's like, now most people are getting their stuff, like getting their just random videos through Facebook. And so why jump over to YouTube for that? That's an extra click, right?
Right.
And so I think YouTube is trying to position itself as being something different. They're also trying to wedge their way into the gaming thing, and I'm hoping to actually do some interviews here soon with some gaming YouTubers, because I want to learn more about that space, because I really don't know much about it. But I think they're trying to position themselves as something different, because Facebook has essentially taken over what they're doing. But now Facebook is shooting itself in the foot by putting ads in the middle of 30-second videos, which is, just the most ridiculous thing, and making us not want to watch videos on YouTube. There's, it's like when you're watching a cat do something cute and the thing pops up, it's like, ads starting in 5 seconds. You're like, well, done.
It wasn't that cute.
Yeah, it wasn't that cute. You have to. I ran across. This was ages ago, but I read somebody's rule that they had about movies, that if they went to the movie and they had to get up in the middle and use the restroom or something, and as they were walking back, if he couldn't remember, what was going on in the movie, he would just leave, because it just obviously wasn't making an impact. And I was like, well, obviously that's not a thing. And so I started doing it on TV shows. Like, this is back when we actually watched, commercials on live TV. And, TV was live back in the day, kids, before the internets.
TV?
Yes. We had to sit there and wait till 7:00 for Friends to start.
What is TV?
But, yeah. But I started doing that. I was like, like the commercial at the 15-minute break, I would start, at the end of like the second or third commercial, I was thinking about it. It's like, do I know what show I was watching? Do I know what was happening in the show? And a lot of times the answer was no.
Wow.
And I was like, I am not really getting anything out of this. But it's really, it's like, that amplified 10 times on YouTube, because it's like, I know I'm wasting my time, and that little ad starting in 5-second thing that's popping up is like bludgeoning me over the head. It's like, Kai, you're wasting your time. You know that's right. So we're going to waste your time so that you can waste more time. I'm like, never mind. Forget it.
It gives you enough time to like see outside the matrix to know what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
To be like, what am I doing?
Anyways, it is a brave new world out there, filled with all sorts of retro goodness waiting to be had.
Waiting to be taken? What are you talking about?
Waiting to be grasped and made your own and whipped into submission.
Whoa. All you have to do is have the internet, half a brain, and a desire to play retro games.
Or not even play them, just watch them.
There you go.
I mean, I can't tell, just like the Let's Play thing, right? I was like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, like in researching the shows, like the Gabriel Knight games. I did not replay Gabriel Knight games. I've played those games before, you know? I did not want to play them again. I mean, I'd love to play them again, but I did not have time for that.
You're right. But watching somebody play through it.
I watched Let's Play of it, you know, sped up to 1.5 speed, you know? And it was great. It was like, everything. I was like, oh, I remember that. It's so cool. And not any of the frustration. I was like, where's that stupid pixel I'm supposed to click?
Right.
So that, I mean, that just like the Let's Play thing is like, I mean, this whole new way of experiencing this stuff. It's like there's a line in Sword Art Online, which is a great anime from somebody who does not know much about it. Have you seen that?
No, dude, I've been looking at it, and I've been remembering you telling me to watch it. Like, every time I click, I'm like, well, do I really trust his judgment? And then I'll click past it. I'll be like, nah, not this time.
Yeah. You never do. Okay, did you?
But it is good, though. You've said that before multiple times, and it sounds like basically the premise you told me sounded really awesome. So
this is my other question for you, because last night I told you under no uncertain terms that you were to go on YouTube and listen to Chapter 1, just Chapter 1 of Heir to the Empire, the Thrawn Trilogy, Book 1 by Timothy Zahn. Did you listen?
Let me see if I did. Let me see when you texted me. I can tell you what was going on in my life when we were talking. You texted me at... Oh, that was pretty early. Yeah, I don't know. I was totally out of it, dude.
Okay.
I think I was laying in bed early or something. I don't remember. I was ready to go to bed.
Well, the reason for this is because I discovered that my public library here has like online audiobooks. I know I'm behind the times.
Audiobooks? You mean you can put a book online?
Yes.
Wait, okay. Do they have that available though? That trilogy?
Yes. I was just saying, just don't even go through all the trouble. Just listen to Chapter 1, and if you are not hooked, it's a money back guarantee. I'll give you your money back. You don't even have to sign up for anything. Just listen to Chapter 1, then you will run out and sign up for the service and download Heir of the Empire and listen to it all tomorrow. Because oh my goodness, Thrawn. Okay, so the reason I brought that's because I just discovered this, that you can get the from the local library here, has it all online, and they have the new Thrawn series in the reimagined universe that started with Episode 7. That took all these old great books and threw them in the trash. I'm not bitter, but. So Timothy Zahn came back and recreated Thrawn, I guess to say, but this one goes back to his like starting with the Empire, way before he was an admiral, and it's so good. And Thrawn is so cool, and it's like just everything I read of this guy or listen to this guy, it's like I wish they would make a Thrawn movie. Probably starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Thrawn. That's just the call I'm making. I wouldn't be opposed to other people, but I just think that's a little dead on. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Just join us on Facebook or on Discord.
I don't know.
But it's just, I was like, oh man, this is and it's, I was worried that they were just going to try to shoehorn Thrawn in, just to make the fans happy, but it's so good.
So much better than that. No, I'm looking online. So on YouTube, you said it's available? Do we have to watch a commercial?
Yes. Watch
so
one
is it
commercial.
called the Thrawn Alliance?
No. Heir to the Empire is what you're looking for.
Okay.
I can send you the link.
No, I got it.
So if you just, it's seriously one of the best first chapters of a book I've ever read. And it's just an introduction of Thrawn himself.
I'm I'm gonna
Okay,
do
so,
it.
so people who have not read this trilogy, it takes place just like a few years after Return of the Jedi, and Grand Admiral Thrawn is basically the ranking official now in the Empire. Now that the Emperor and Darth Vader are dead, spoilers, and so he was not. He was not, at Endor during the battle. And basically it's his effort to reestablish the Empire and take care of those pesky rebels. And he is just a very, very worthy villain. And what the cool thing about the new Thrawn series is that, since it takes place, within the Empire, and it just follows Thrawn's career path, he's actually not the villain of the series anymore. He's the hero of this new series. And so that's a lot of fun, because you always kind of cheer for him because he's just that cool. But now you can actually legit cheer for him, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. So the second book from the original Heir to the Empire was The Dark Force Rising, and then the last one was The Last Command?
Yes, that's the one. So you need to check those out. Just when you realize how right I am, you can announce it on our Discord server.
All right, I'll be ready to do that.
Yes.
I'm actually.
So
I'm finding the full reading of these books online though.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, they're. I was suggesting the legal way of your local library's audiobook catalog. It's literally the exact same thing as downloading them from YouTube, but one is magically legal and one is magically illegal because government says so. But
so you're saying I should respect the government?
Look, that's your choice. I'm here.
Understand.
I'm here to give you options, and there's a legal way and there's an illegal way.
I've worked for the government for many years, and I know they draw lines in the sand, and you just decide which side of it you're going to be on.
Yes, but before I was actually re-listening through Heir to the Empire before I found the library thing online. So yeah, I totally did the illegal way. But I it's like we bought. I bought the book. I never bought the audiobook, but it is Mark Thompson reading it, my absolute favorite. Hey, gosh, we're way late on this episode, but Mark Thompson, oh my goodness, the guy just does this dead-on impression of every single character. He's so good. So Mark Thompson, if you are out there, I'm sorry I stole Heir to the Empire. I have legally listened to several of your books. I'm a fan.
Sweet.
So support Mark Thompson is what I'm saying.
So this is like an advertisement. You're kind of paying for this.
Yes. This is a commercial. 15-second commercial for an hour-long episode. That's how it works. Besides the actual advertisements that we have. but what I brought up Sword Art Online, and this doesn't give away anything, but one point one of the characters says, there's nothing more boring than watching somebody else play an RPG. And it's like, I think that as brilliant as that show is, we have definitely proven that wrong. Because we do it all the time. All the time. We do it. And it's a blast. It's just a blast being part of, of a group of people, watching someone play this, but being able to talk and interact and comment and suggest and make jokes and be sarcastic and laugh together. It's just fun.
No, that is cool. And, you have to remember that historically, when they had visions of the future, back in the past about going to the moon, they thought that the moon would be like cheese and there'd be aliens and stuff roaming around it. But
totally are.
Turned out it wasn't
true.
The case.
Well, that's what they say.
But now it's like, so people project what the future will be like, that it'll be boring to watch RPGs. It's kind of like that, people used to think the moon was cheese.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, that's it.
All right. Well, I think that about does it for today. As we've gone way long, and almost none of that was about retro gaming, but still, We got
were old
to
enough
talk about Thrawn. We got to
Yeah.
talk about
That's retro.
about waking up, being in our boxers, and losing over and over again. We got to talk.
That was a good part. That made me a little emotional too.
Oh gosh! So we do thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate you tuning in each and every week. Please stay tuned. We have actually several big series planned for this month, and in the very near future, we are going to be releasing a new single that's going to be part of this new podcast that we're doing the music for. And so please watch out for that. Now, we had mentioned before that on our Patreon page, we are going to be doing a new song every month this year. And I am not referring to that soundtrack when I say that. The soundtrack is different. And so you want to be on our Patreon page. You're going to get a free song each and every month. It's going to be a part of a larger album. And so you do want to be able to get that. But this single is not what we're talking about when we're talking about the January release. It's going to be something else. And so you want to stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Do remember that the Techno Funk Boy equals Retro Fun Boy. I'm still trying that out.
Boys. No, it's good. I think you're good. I think it's good. I think I like how you do it. You should just keep it. Don't apologize.
Keep doing it. Keep doing
Don't
it.
apologize next time.
Sounds good. All right. We will see you next week.
The Retro Zoo Super Show is brought to you by the Techno Funk Boy. Follow us on Twitter at Techno Funk Boy, on Facebook at the Techno Funk Boy, and sign up for our email list at technofunkboy.com. Also look for us on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon for music. If you are so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast catcher. If you are not so inclined, you are obviously some sort of villain trying to conquer the world. Unowned music and gameplay clips are used for educational and critical purposes. Thank you for listening, keep gaming, and unless you have responsibilities that need to be done at this time, then you can game later.